like your always thinking.
Turn it up!
Welcome back. Stockwell Eldridge Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge, Remax Results.
So first segment, we were talking about the market update. One little thing I'll piggyback on that is we have clients looking in Richfield, and we did a search for them on the MLS to try to find someone. I just wanted to illustrate to them how few properties there are to choose from at this current time. 275 and under, 275 and under. So if you live in Richfield, you remember when houses were selling for $125,000, probably not that long ago.
Yeah.
So we did 275 and under, 3 or more bedrooms, 2 or more bathrooms, and we did all the active homes that don't have an offer on them, so they're not subject to inspection or any contingency. Anybody want to take a guess how many homes there were? In all of Richfield, under 275, which actually is super high.
Just now, you mean, or back?
Just last week, like 4 days ago.
15.
Okay, anybody else?
0.
3. So there were 3. One of them was a short sale, and it was a dump, so that one was off. So there's technically only 2 real ones available. So again, we'll stress it again. If you're a seller, don't wait. Don't think the conventional. Oh, I got to wait till April to put my house on the market. I got to wait till maybe mid-March or something like that. If you can, put it in early and get it on the market early. If you're a buyer, we have 3 homes coming up in Richfield that aren't even on the market yet. So you have to talk to agents that have homes coming up. When you talk to an agent to help you buy, look at what they have for sale. What's your inventory? How do you work with sellers? Because that's more important now than anything, as opposed to just setting you up on an automatic MLS feed, and then you lose out every time to 10, 15 offers.
Because they want to know what you got.
Yeah.
What you got, Jason?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well, what I like too is we always send out an email with what's coming up within our group, so it keeps all of us
in the loop.
Yep. We know what's coming on, if we have a buyer that runs into what you've got coming on, or I might have coming on.
So if you take it away from that, our group is in the loop. So
haha, I like it.
That's your new tagline.
Hey, Stephanie, do they still have conventional loans? Is conventional loans still?
Absolutely. And actually, our guy was talking yesterday, the Wells Fargo person that gave this presentation, and we have a 3% down conventional product. So FHA has really gone down dramatically. There are people still that do still need an FHA product, maybe for various reasons. But conventional financing, 3% down. There's no income limits. It does have mortgage insurance, but actually, too, a lot of people are choosing for lender-paid mortgage insurance. And again, if you have a loan officer and they are not laying out your options for you, as far as conventional, if you put down 3% versus 5%, and also borrower-paid mortgage insurance, lender-paid mortgage insurance, and also single premium mortgage insurance as well. So your loan officer should break that down for you and show you what your options are, because it can make a difference too, and offering you an arm and being able to afford more. So, because what did you say, Jason? What was the dollar amount that there was only 3 homes?
In Richfield, yeah.
So, maybe that 300,000 mark, there might be more houses, but, you might not qualify. Well, if you have a good loan officer and they restructure that loan, you might actually qualify for more depending on the loan option or the
and don't be afraid
mortgage insurance
of
option.
rehab loans. I know Don goes through a lot of houses probably every day, right?
Yes.
Don Doty? Yeah.
Yes.
And you're doing a lot of inspections for us and dozens and probably hundreds of other people. But do you see people buying dumps now and saying, hey, I'm going to buy this? And then here's my question, actually. This is a good question. Finally, I got a good one. Are buyers more, I've been telling sellers that, in my opinion, buyers are being more relaxed or not as demanding on their inspection requests. And maybe you don't know what they're requesting when you're done with the inspection, but do you get a feel from the buyers when they're in the house, or maybe you're talking to them after the inspection? Are they kind of like, okay, I'll do that. Okay. Or are they kind of like, oh my gosh, like I have to get this fixed by the seller? Are you seeing a little more relaxed approach from them, where they'll buy something even though, despite of certain things?
Well, all the above.
Yeah.
So I'm doing an inspection, say hypothetically, for Stephanie, and I lay out all the things that I find wrong. It's really not my job to say, have the seller fix it or have your agent ask for a deduct in price. That's not a home inspector's job. Mm-hmm. My job is being the messenger. So everybody's different. I actually had somebody walk away from a sale of a house, nice house, Apple Valley, because the water heater was old and needed to be replaced. Walked away from a $300,000 house on account of a water heater that's $800.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? You really don't want to buy a house.
Or that one, maybe.
Right.
That's the, yeah. And the other thing is, your buyers,
Well,
if
if
you're a
they're-
buyer out there, it's not the perfection. I mean, if you want to go to perfection, buy a new house, but
Yeah.
then you jack your price up by at least 30%, maybe 40%.
The other thing too, Jason, when I do an inspection, I was a builder for 25 years, so I have a real good idea of cost. So in other words, let's just hypothetically say I'm doing the inspection and the deck is all rotted. Well, I can tell the people it's about $15 a square foot, where another home inspector will guess, or even the buyer will guess and go, well, that's got to be 20,000. Well, it's not 20, it's maybe 12. Okay, or they'll look at a roof and say, well, that's got to be 50,000 or that's got to be 2,000. No, then I give them the answer. So it takes more education from a home
shock
inspector.
off, yeah.
Yeah, more education. I got 40 some years doing this stuff that I should know something. And it brings value to an inspection. It brings value to the agent, both the listing and the selling
Both
agent,
sides.
but the homeowner.
And
Well, and I think that's where they go to understand your financing, because people might say, well, geez, I got to put down, I don't have any extra money because I have to put down 20%.
Right.
Or I have to put down 15%. Well, check with your loan officer. Maybe you only need to put down 3%, and then you can save some of that cash for those fix-up improvements. Or if you do put 20% down, we could do a home equity line for you right after you close to get you some cash as well. So there are always options. Sometimes people get so fixated that they have to put down this much money, and so they have none left over. Well, talk to your loan officer, restructure that loan so you only have to put minimum down, and you can buy an $800 water
And the
heater.
other thing that we always tell sellers, and this is exactly what Don said, is buyers will double or triple the real cost of an actual item.
Yeah.
So they'll go in and say, "Oh my gosh, that's $10,000 when it's a $3,000 fix or a $4,000 fix." So that's where the experience comes in, and you can save the purchase of the home that they actually love by having a realistic number instead of a number that they think, because they're usually high on their repair numbers for sure. So I would say, use Don Doty for your inspections. If you're a home seller, if you're getting ready to sell your home, it's not bad to have him come in ahead of time. If there's some questionable items that you may have to see. And then also, of course, if you're a buyer or looking to buy, I would say do that.
Well, and some cities require city inspections in order to sell.
And
Yes.
Don, you can do them in every city,
Every
right?
city, yes.
so-
Here's the other thing too, Jason, that's important is I prioritize things that need to be done for my buyers. So I'll say, your furnace is older. I'm going to give you all kinds of options. A furnace is going to cost you about $2,500. So the point being is, do you want to spend the $2,500? Well, I don't have any money, they'll say. You can still call like Mini Gasco. You can put it on your gas bill for $62 a month, pay it off when you want. And then that'll actually end up saving you money in the long run, because you're going to get a high efficient furnace, you're going to get a safe furnace, which is the most important. And no home inspector should ever do a CO test on any house. You have to be licensed. I'm shocked.
HVAC licensed.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yep.
shocked
It
at how
happens
many home
all the
inspectors
time.
do a
Yeah.
CO test. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Nope,
true.
you're absolutely
Do
right. I see
not
it come up often.
rely
Yeah.
on a home inspector.
Well, okay, and so then why don't you tell our listeners why wouldn't they want to do a CO test? I mean, I would think I'd want that done, right?
As a buyer and during an inspection.
Well, the other thing too is what Jason was just saying is, if you're thinking of putting your house on the market, do it, but do it with a home inspection. Whether you're in a city that requires inspections or not, still do it. It's cheap insurance, simply because if you hypothetically say you live in Plymouth, there's no inspection required. But let's just say you're going to put your house on the market. Have a guy like me come in. I'll do a 20-page report. I'll tell you the condition of your property. I'll give you an estimated of, say, 7 years on the roof or 10 years on the furnace or whatever. That way there, a buyer goes in with more knowledge. That's the key, knowledge.
Yep.
Don't go in like, oh, I don't know. You know.
So why did you? Well, real quick though, why did you say you would not want a CO test?
Do not, because you know
You have to be licensed.
Yeah, you have to be a licensed
licensed.
heating
And
You
person.
have to be a
inspectors
C.
aren't. Actually, most inspectors are not
So
licensed.
most home inspectors. So again, you'd want to check with if the home inspector asks them what tests they're going to be doing, and are they certified to do those tests? I guess
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm getting at, Don. Right?
And if you're selling your house, and if, say, hypothetically, it's a Minneapolis, and if the furnace is older, I always call for a CO test. If you're the homeowner, have that CO test paperwork on the counter along with your truth in housing, so that when a buyer comes through, he goes, oh, okay, I see that it's been tested. It may not be guaranteed for any length of time, but that particular day it passed. Very critical. People die over this.
Yeah, and so CO is a big deal, and so you want to make sure a certified person is doing that. It's a great tip from
Well,
Don Doty.
that's good to know. That's I'd say we want to know why you don't want to have that done, or just making sure that they have the right
I think
certifications.
I think home inspectors like to try to be everything to everybody, and you can't.
So do realtors. So, I promise, folks, we're going to get to Allison Krause. If you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, check us out on YouTube. You can see everybody in the studio here, and see what we look like. Get some information on us. Go to our Facebook page, the Stockwell Eldritch Show, and we will be talking with Allison Krause about health insurance, because that could be, believe it or not, a factor in preventing you from buying a home if you're paying $1,000 a month, which a lot of people are. So stay tuned.
Clear